Hello everyone, my name is Brianna Jones and I'm back again to continue my presentation on how children are acquiring language in this digital age. Just to refresh you on what I discussed last time, young children are able to maneuver tablets, phones, and apps with a level of sophistication you don't see from a lot of adults. Children nowadays are growing up in an age of technology that we didn't experience at such a young age. Yes, we did grow up having tablets, computers, and smartphones, but those things for us weren't as advanced or abundant until middle school or high school. Just to give you some reference, the first iPad wasn't released until 2010, and the first iPhone wasn't released until 2007. And around that time, we were all probably around 8 or to 11 years old. And by that time, language acquisition is pretty much complete. You can also argue that we had TV, but the way that we mainly acquired language as children was through face-to-face human interaction, and that was accompanied by books and recorded material later on in life. That is the same for children today, but the digital age gives them access to new modes of learning earlier on. I related this to the existing theories of language acquisition that we discussed in class. The first being Chomsky's innatist approach. And I'm going to contrast the innatist approach versus the interactionist approach. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So Chomsky's innatist approach says that the capacity to learn language is hardwired into the human brain. And it's hardwired through specific areas of the brain that are associated with language. The first one being Broca's area, which is in charge of coordination and speech. And then the second area in the brain that's associated with language is Wernicke's area, which is in charge of the comprehension of speech. So the second theory surrounded at language acquisition is the interactionist approach I discussed earlier, and that's Ox and Shefflin who came up with that. So that says that language acquisition depends on the linguistic environment in which a child is immersed in. Specifically, the cultural take on adult-child communication and interaction. So I feel like as a society, we tend to like to have dyadic conversations with young kids. So we like to sit them down and try to speak to them and have face-to-face conversation. Whereas in other cultures, the children observe the language happening around them and learn in that way. So my question surrounding this is, what are the ways in which children are acquiring language through technology in this digital age, and is acquiring language through technology such a bad thing? There are some people who are totally against using technology with young kids as a whole, and believe that human interaction is the best way. And I would argue that these people would say that because they think that to learn language is to talk one-on-one with someone, when it's so much more than that. I think that if you view language as something we are constantly observing, whether we are conversating or not, you would see that there's nothing wrong with tablets and phones because kids are acquiring language by observing how people interact with one another, whether that be in person, YouTube, or a kid-friendly Netflix show. So in my first presentation, I interviewed my aunt about her toddler, and I asked her how her toddler uses technology in everyday life. And what she told me was that her daughter interacts with technology mainly through tablets, TV, and cell phone. And while she's on a tablet, watching TV, or on a cell phone, she's on YouTube or engaging in Netflix kid movies. And through that, she was able to learn a lot of different things. And like when I say learn a lot of different things, I mean she was able to learn her words, colors, and the alphabet, which are huge things that are part of our language that she's learning and acquiring. So this just shows that kids are able to acquire language through technology, and that tablets and cell phones can be additional educational tools that provide sensory modalities for the child to learn through. Just like we discussed in class, whenever something technologically new comes out, people approach it with skepticism. So now I'm going to talk about the two main discourses that we use surrounding cell phones and technology in general, and that is adoration versus damnation. So we usually damn our cell phones and tablets because we tend to use them and we waste time on them. We're scrolling on Instagram, YouTube, and all these things, and we look back at it and we just wish that we had done something more productive. And so this gives us the idea that using cell phones and technology is such a bad thing. And so in turn, it's led us to believe that having our children use it is only creating bad habits in them. We think that by putting them on YouTube and sitting them down and having them watch this video or this YouTube thing, instead of helping them learn, it's going to create that addiction within them where they want to sit down and watch YouTube all day. But I really just don't think that's the case all the time. technology shouldn't be solely relied on as a method to teach children language, but I think that it is an excellent tool that can and should be used in addition to already teaching them. And I think that we shouldn't shy away from it out of irrational fear that it's going to be something negative on them, because if you use it correctly, it can be such a positive thing. And I think we're really seeing that nowadays because we're all home and working from home and learning from home. We're doing everything from home because of coronavirus. And because of this virus, we've had to rely on technology so much. Like when it comes to school, everything, work, we're learning mainly through technology. And we're conducting everyday life things through technology. And I think that these circumstances are really allowing people to think differently about the ways in which we use technology as a whole, and as a way to communicate with one another and as a way to learn. I think it's allowing us to see the benefits of using technology as a learning tool, especially because we have little kids and adults working at the same time. Because parents are working, they can't really teach their kid fully, so they're relying on internet as a main form of education for their kids. So I think that this time is showing us that technology is the only thing right now that's allowing us to still educate ourselves and engage with others who are far away. I think that technology definitely shouldn't be the only way through which we are learning, but it is a handy tool that definitely helps in so many ways. So even though we're using technology mainly at this time, I think that the only benefit in it right now is that it's showing us that it's a tool that can be used. I don't think that it should be used as a main way of learning. I think learning in a classroom, learning while talking to others is still the best way, but we shouldn't shy away from technology as a way to teach our children out of thinking that it's such a bad thing, because it's really not. And so I decided to interview my mom, who doesn't believe in technology as a great way for children to acquire language. She believes that children should be talking and sitting in a classroom, not on a tablet somewhere. So now that my brother and sister are doing online school at home, they're reliant on YouTube and apps to teach them how to read and write and do all those things. So I asked my mom if she has had a change of heart about it, and she said that learning from tablets does not replace learning in person, but that she will consider to continue using some of the apps that my brother and sister are reliant on now, like Epic and BrainPop, because they're useful tools and had backing up the learning that they had been doing at home, and look with her as a teacher now. And since I'm not really handy with adding stuff to the video, my last I think my last visual tool is actually bringing my brother and sister into the video, Maddie and Izzy. So I'm going to bring them into the video, and I'm just going to have them talk to you a little bit about what it's like to be at home learning and how they feel about it. So this is my visual thing, because I don't know how to add a YouTube video. So guys, how do you guys like learning from home?
It's fun. It's fun.
So, but would you rather be learning in a classroom, or do you guys like learning online? What are the...
I like both.
Okay, so what do you like learning about? What do you like about learning in school?
That I get to see all my friends.
What about you, Maddie?
Seeing all my friends and playing outside with them.
Okay, and so what's something that you like about learning online?
That you can see your friends online and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We have conference calls with our teacher too.
Yeah. And so do you think that being online is good now that we're not able to go to school because of the virus?
Yeah, not really.
What do you think?
It can make your eyes it can make your eyes get a little blind.
Okay, so he's saying that being online can hurt your eyes sometimes. But overall, we're grateful to have technology right now, because it still allows us to learn and can still continue on with life as regular, even though life isn't regular right now. So there's ups to technology. Not everything about technology is bad, right? Because they love being on their tablets. And so thank you guys for watching my presentation. Thank you to my brother and sister for joining and being my visual aid. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.